Today on Monkey Life. After a dramatic rescue in South Africa, Chimp Kalu begins her journey to a new home in Dorset.
She's alert, looking around. Quiet though, which is nice. All good. I think she's just checking out the show.
And 24 hours later, arrives at the park with a whole new life ahead of her.
It's been a long one. This has been a tricky rescue.
Plus, nothing is mission impossible for the clever Capuchins. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Everybody's well aware that they need to be looked after carefully. They should be okay.
The park provides a home for more than 260 monkeys and apes from 24 different species. It's been a long, sleepless night in South Africa for Alison and the park's animal director, Jeremy Keeling. For the last 3 days, along with wildlife vet John Lewis, they've been in Cape Town, 6,000 miles from Dorset, attempting to rescue elderly female chimp Kalu, who needs a new home. But yesterday, events took a dramatic turn. A dispute with the owner of the property where she was living led to a standoff, with local police having to intervene before a last-minute deal was struck. Once they regained access to the chimp, stress levels rocketed even further when she had to be darted in her outside enclosure and then, loaded with sedative, fell 30 feet from a tree.
There is no way on this earth that I could have predicted what was going to happen yesterday. And, you know, I think I'm going to need therapy or recovery time. I mean, it was just insane. But we're here today. I'm feeling rejuvenated and confident. Fingers crossed we're on the plane tonight.
The team took Kalu to neighbouring Monkey Town to monitor, unsure if she would recover enough to fly or if she'd suffered internal injuries. Jeremy watched over her through the night, and this morning, vet John is feeling confident.
This morning she's a different animal. She's up, she's interacting with people. She's got very good colour, she shows no lumps and bumps externally, no obvious wounds, no obvious evidence of internal hemorrhage or any other disasters which could have happened. And I'm considerably happier this morning to see her in that condition than I was last night. Jeremy stayed with her all last night so that we had a check on her all the time. Even so, at that stage there's very little I can do, she just has to recover.
Jeremy has seen it all before.
This stage of the operation, you can't really relax until we've got her into her new accommodation, into her new bedrooms, and contented and, you know, realising that this isn't such a bad thing after all.
It's time to leave for the airport. Alison makes sure all the documentation needed is present and correct, and clearly displayed on the travel crate. For René Grobler, who was instrumental in the move, it's a bittersweet moment.
Let's go.
Kalu has been part of his life in one way or another since he was a boy. But he's delighted that she'll finally have a home with companionship of her own kind.
More than that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, we'll see you soon, eh? And I will send you along the way.
It's a 45-minute journey to the airport, and once there, the transfer into the cargo area goes like clockwork.
She's alert, looking around. Quiet though, which is nice. All good. I think she's just checking out the show.
Kalu is put into a holding area, which is nice and cool, before the time comes to load her onto the plane.
It's much cooler in here, which is good.
The team are allowed a final check to make sure everything is safe and secure before saying their goodbyes.
This has just been an absolutely sterling job. They expected her, everything was quick, smooth. They've got her in a relatively quiet area in the cargo, and When we just last saw her, she was sound asleep. Couldn't ask for more.
Next stop, Dorset, and a bright new future for Kalu. At the park, life's been a bit different for the chimps in Bart's group for the past week. The staff have been busy renovating their indoor playroom. And while work's been going on inside, most of the residents have remained outside. The pavilion was originally built almost 30 years ago. There've been regular improvements and alterations over the years, but it's now been given a full overhaul. Gone are the old wooden poles, replaced with robust steel supports, which are much easier for the staff to keep clean. And there are lots more hose walkways and hammocks to encourage the group to climb and keep active while indoors.
It's massively important if we can keep them always thinking, always using all their muscles. So just the basic instinct of just climbing up to their bed will be using muscles that they need to be using just to make sure that they maintain a nice, healthy body. And the fact there's so much space, they don't always have to be rubbing shoulders with each other, especially during feed time. So there's plenty of opportunities for chimps to grab the food that they want and then make a quick getaway or find themselves a nice hidden spot where they can eat in peace.
With the work complete and new bedding and fresh food scattered around, it's time to see what the group think of their new playroom. Cindy and Chatter lead the charge, with alpha male Bart close behind. The group are very excited. The combination of the new apparatus and the abundance of healthy tomatoes to eat makes for an enthusiastic response. The majority of the group have been at the park for many years and are used to things changing from time to time. But Toprish is new to all this and struggling to take it in. While most of the group run around like excited teenagers, she makes for the top of the climbing frame, looking slightly bewildered. She's progressed really well since arriving from Turkey last year, but every now and then, more established chimps can't resist the opportunity to wind her up. And today, it's Gamba.
Toprish has fitted in very, very well. She's learned what she can get away with and what she can't, but she has made very good friends with Bart, so there's more things that she can get away with that she can't. And yeah, the group have welcomed her with open arms. She is being quite testing with them, but they are all aware of she is very young and naive, so it will just be a waiting game for her to fully adjust.
And while the youngster tries to work things out, dominant female Cindy is often there to protect her. Toprish may be still trying to find her place in the group, but new leader Bart has firmly established his.
Yeah, he's got all the respect from the group. He's learning his role day by day as well. He's took it in his stride, and every single day for every single chimp is a nice new lesson for them.
The revamped playroom has been a hit, and the excitement continues right up to the arrival of the afternoon feed. At the Stumpy House, the lovingly named Ugly Monkeys are in for a treat. Primate care staff member Toby is on a mission to keep the 8 members of the group fit and active. He's making the most of the autumn fall and covering their playroom in leaves. Suspended from hoses and around the playroom are barrels and buoys, and Toby's hiding their breakfast amongst them.
It just gives them something different. Obviously, it looks different. There's lots of bugs and things in there. We've got some nuts in here as well for them to sort of forage for and find. So it just changes it up a bit for them, and it will last a few days, and hopefully it will encourage the Stumpies to be nice and active and move around lots when they're foraging.
When it comes to feeding time, the Stumpies are unlike any other group at the park.
With the Stumpies, it's quite difficult to enrich them because, one, their motivation isn't as high as some of the others, and two, They eat most things, like the things we'd use to say the capuchins, like socks and pillowcases and rags and cardboard. Stumpies just eat that, so we have to be a bit more creative with what we give them. It has to be Stumpy-proof. So we found that the bottles and the barrels are really good because they don't tend to chew them, but it also means they've got to work a bit. So they're not just walking around on the floor trying to picking up the food and then going and eating it. So just keeping them active, keeping them busy is good for them.
Leader Sam is first into the bedroom, closely followed by dominant female Kelly. At 33, Sam is the only survivor of the park's original group of Stumpies, who were rescued from a laboratory 20 years ago. But he proves age is no barrier, as he expertly maintains his balance and rummages through one of the barrels. The Stumpies are an elderly group. At 21, Sylvie is the youngest. She's the most quick and agile, and can get to places others can't reach. Kelly struggles a bit when climbing, but Toby's plan is working. And the reward of a tasty chestnut gets her moving. Female Charlie is another with mobility issues. She has problems with her hips, and as a low ranker, is careful to keep out of the way of anyone more senior. Most of the group take the easy option, rummaging through the leaves on the floor and storing what they find in their cheek pouches for eating later. But there are two members conspicuous by their absence, and Toby has made provisions for them.
Toto and Freddie are still fairly right at the bottom of the group, and generally they're not brave enough to come into the playroom, so they're probably not going to get the full benefit of all the leaves and things. So what I'm going to do is save these leaves for Toto and Freddie's room, so that when they come in tonight, they still get the benefit and the fun of foraging and investigating the pile of leaves too.
While Toto and Freddie enjoy the autumn sunshine together, the rest of the grumpy Stumpies have fulfilled their exercise quota for the day and are content to sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of their labour. Feeding time for all the park's primates is a challenge for all the care team, who are constantly on the lookout for new and inventive ways to keep the animals busy, stimulated, and active. But while the Stumpies, given the chance, will even try and eat the containers hiding their treats, the spider monkeys are a little more discerning. Today, Katie is putting old bedding to good use, stringing pillowcases up high in their enclosure. She's filled them with dried fruits and nuts covered in straw to make retrieval just that little bit harder for the nimble-fingered spider monkeys. And for something quite out of the ordinary, she's also filling tub trugs with water and floating plastic toys. And as an added bonus, in goes some low-calorie popcorn. Surely this will grab the trio's attention.
They're extremely different. Hickory is the oldest, and he has got kind of like the personality of a grumpy old man. Flint is a little bit more kind of like outgoing, always there and interested in things, but Pumpkin's kind of like the most dominant of the three. She's definitely the one who goes over and will check everything out.
Spider monkeys are suspensory feeders, using their strong prehensile tails to hang from branches while gathering food and water. It's a skill they'll need to use today to get the most from the snack challenge. As predicted, it's Pumpkin, the only female in the trio, who's first out of the blocks. She's the most confident and noisiest of the three, especially when food's involved. The two males have learnt to wait their turn while Pumpkin checks things out, and today's no exception. And it seems she definitely has a preference for popcorn. Hickory, fed up of waiting, takes matters into his own hands in dramatic fashion. He's the oldest and usually the most reserved of the group, but today he's full of mischief. Flint makes straight for the pillowcases, quickly working out how to get to the treats inside. He's normally more highly strung than the other two, but beginning to mellow as he gets older. Pumpkin's had enough of picking popcorn out of the water. It's a lot easier when you don't have to get your hands wet. Spider monkeys are arboreal. In the wild, they live above the ground in the trees of their natural habitat. The care team do their best to replicate this at the park. Pumpkin gives a perfect demonstration, expertly hanging down using her long prehensile tail as an anchor while searching through the pillowcase for some food. It's been a fun afternoon of enrichment for the group. They've all got stuck in and enjoyed the challenge. Plus, most of the treats have either been eaten or sunk without trace. Of all the different primate species at the park, the capuchins are widely thought to be the most intelligent monkeys. They're problem solvers with highly developed brains that need to be kept busy. So today, primate care staff member Donna is planning to give Winslow's group of 17 a tricky task to keep them thinking, challenge their coordination, and test their tenacity. She's hanging baskets filled with straw all around their enclosure, in the most difficult to reach places she can find. And to encourage them to climb and investigate, she's filling the baskets with one of their favourite treats.
So today we've got some straw balls up, which have got waxworms in, which really is one of the capuchins' favourite foods. It's really high in protein as well, so we try and give them insects on a daily basis, really. It also gets their muscles working as well. We've put them in places that are quite difficult to access. So yeah, they have to try and balance, lean, stretch down, which is all really good for their muscle tone as well.
There are 3 males and 14 females in the group, all led by Winslow. Donna is hoping everyone will get involved in today's enrichment. The slide is opened, and it's the females who lead the way. Debbie is out first, followed by 2 of the highest-ranking ladies, Babe and Esther. Debbie used to be dominant, but has fallen a couple of rungs down the hierarchy ladder. However, she's still a feisty and formidable female. Babe has moved up and is now one of the head ladies. She's always on the go. Unlike the majority of the park's capuchins who arrived from a Chilean laboratory, Babe was rescued from the pet trade in Spain, along with another female, Amy. Capuchins are quick and agile and great at climbing. Onslow reaches out to forage through the straw, looking for the tasty waxworms, while using his tail as an anchor. Leonie demonstrates a good head for heights, leaning over the edge of a platform and hooking a basket in search of breakfast. One of the youngest members of the group, Ruby, is also on the move. She demonstrates great balance and coordination as she delves into the straw. Finally, leader Winslow makes an appearance and goes in search of a basket. He takes the easy option, stretching up to forage in one that's low to the ground. He finds a treat, but gets showered in straw as he searches for another. The clever capuchins make short work of the baskets, so the care team throw in something else to keep them occupied. Frozen passion fruit. It's something they haven't tasted in a while.
Capuchins are really intelligent. It's so important that we keep them stimulated as much as we can. If we don't, they get bored. That's when we see more squabbles in the group, and that's when we see the stereotypical behaviours coming out a lot more as well. And the passion fruit are really great because they're frozen. It keeps them busy for longer periods of time, rather than just eating, it's done, then what do we do next? I'm bored.
It seems to do the trick. There's enough frozen fruit for everyone to get their teeth into. But leader Winslow opts for a grooming session from one of his ladies. While the smaller primates relax, the long and stressful operation to rescue the park's new resident, chimpanzee Kalu, has finally come to an end. She's made it safely to her new home at Monkey World. Her journey from a farm estate in Cape Town, where she spent most of her life after being stolen from the wild, to a new life in Dorset hasn't been without incident.
Hey, you! Hey, missus! You gonna get up?
I just really am looking forward to getting her out of that box because she has now been in there for close to 48 hours now. And once again, you know, not how it was meant to be, but at least she's safe and good. And, you know, once we got her into that box, she changed personality and seemed to appreciate our company. So I'm hoping that that's the true Kalu and not the sort of edgy, nasty one that we sort of met at the enclosure.
The difficulties surrounding Kalu's rescue meant her anaesthetic was risky, and she's had to stay in her box for 2 days. But despite this, she's bright, alert, and responsive. Her recovery is a huge relief, because soon, this elderly female chimp will undergo a life-changing experience, becoming the 6th member of Brian's small group.
Right. Beginning the new life.
Alison hopes the group's acceptance of Nari, who arrived a little over a year ago from Thailand, will be extended to Kalu, making them the perfect companions for her remaining years. She hasn't been in the company of chimps since she was stolen from the wild more than 30 years ago.
Kalu! Hey, you! Good girl!
Introductions will take place slowly over time. For now, the troop are being kept outside while Kalu gets used to her new surroundings. Alison's happy with how the chimp has settled after her long journey, but is concerned with Kalu's appearance.
Well done. She's really skinny. She's lost a lot of condition. We don't know why. I'm gonna have to rely upon the primate care staff to just intensive care with her over the next couple of days and get to know her, but that's what they're great at. You know, it's possible that she has some greater problem that's caused the weight loss. We just don't know. I've got the bloods to send off for analysis now, and we just have to wait and see. But she's bright in herself. She looks good, her color's good. Really happy. It's been a long one. This has been a tricky, tricky rescue.
The primate care team are keen to get their first proper look at the new arrival. They'll give Kalu a few days to settle in and make sure she's happy and eating well before considering introducing her to her new companions. For now, they're happy just to watch as Kalu gets to grips with her new life at the park. Next time on Monkey Life, a novel training idea to persuade Chimp Toprish the great outdoors is a safe place to be.
Good girl. Called Find the Red Dot.
And don't mind if I do. Marmosets Reggie and Freya enjoy their grapes. A whole bunch.